Dr. Chris Collier at Alleviate Chiropractic Performance in Chesterfield, Missouri. Today's exercise is it's a cervical retraction, very common head posture exercise, but we're going to make it a little bit more difficult by adding a resistance band. So the pet peeve for me, there's a lot of them, but one of the big ones is when people are doing postural neck exercises, they're not quite doing them to my liking, and maybe I'm too picky, but you know, whenever we're going to retract our cervical spine, there's a big difference between this, where I'm translating my head backwards with a chin tuck so that my face is pretty much parallel to what I'm looking at, with this straight back without the chin tuck, because what this is doing, it's over compressing kind of the lower posterior cervical spine. So people that have neck issues, when they do it like this and they're not coached on proper form, it actually hurts, okay? So a really good cervical retraction, you're gonna feel some activation of the muscles deep in the neck here, and you might actually feel like a stretching or pulling of the back of the neck because of, you know, subsequent tightness or postural issues. So what I'm doing is I'm just using a resistance band to essentially add difficulty to it. So basically I'm going to keep that in mind with this, and then I'm going to wrap this guy around. I've seen a lot of variations. What I usually do is I get one of these ribbon type bands so that it's covering a lot of the back of my head, and I just pull straight out, and then I start to do the exercise. So it's really important that you're working on proper activation by chin tuck and backwards head. And I can probably just do the rest of the video like this, and you can see how goofy it looks. So that maybe this isn't something you do in the gym, but in private. But the other thing you want to look at is make sure you're not rotating your head or bending side to side. You want neutral. So when you just start doing this exercise, I'll usually go up against a mirror and pull out, and then I start to retract my chin. So there's different ways to utilize this exercise. You can do, you know, sets of 10, sets of 20. You can progress it by getting a stiffer band. But the deep neck flexors, their big job is endurance to hold your head in neutral. Because a lot of us are kind of, for technology, all the things we know, we're out of that neutral position. So what I might do is 10 reps, and then on that 10th, I'm gonna hold for 5 to 10 seconds. Or I might just do sets of like 10-second holds. At the end of this exercise, you should feel a lot of activation here, and you might feel like your head is a little taller. It's kind of what we want. So it's real important, do the exercise, but then also if you're gonna go sit at your computer or sit on the phone or drive your car, try to keep the concepts in mind. None of this matters if you go straight back into your positions without trying to fix kind of the postural situation all throughout the day. Now, if you want to get real crazy and you really want to progress it, let's say you're an athlete, especially for football players where there's a lot of head impact, I can start to add kind of like a plyometric set with it. So I might hold this here, I might take something like, here's just a regular basketball, you can do a medicine ball. So with a partner, I'm gonna keep my head in position here, and then I'm like throwing the ball, so it's reactive neck strengthening, okay? So there's a lot of different ways. As long as you keep your head in this position, you're gonna get the right muscle activation. So this is just a cervical retraction with resistance band, something you can do throughout the day, kind of like a micro break while you're at work. So if you got questions, let me know. If not, we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.